Hilm is a really important element of leadership. The saying goes, لَيْسَ الْجَاهِلْ بِسَيِّدٍ فِي قَوْمِهِ وَلَكِنْ سَيِّدَ الْقَوْمِ يَتَجَاهَلْ. The ignorant person is not a leader amongst their people, but the leader has to feign ignorance. You have to overlook. You have to forget. That is praiseworthy, and that's what any leader must do. And one of the most successful leaders of the Muslim world was one of the most forbearant, and that was Amir al-Mu'mineen Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan radiyallahu anhu. So Ibn Abi Dunya, he narrates that Abdullah ibn Zubair sent a very harsh letter to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. May Allah be pleased with them both. And Muawiyah, he shows the letter to Yazid, his son. And he says, what do you think? And Yazid says, even if you were equals, you shouldn't have accepted that language from him. And you're the Khalifa. You're not even his equal. And so that's even less reason for him to speak to you that way. So Muawiyah says to him, so what do you think? And Yazid says, what I think is that you should send him 40,000 soldiers. That's what I think. And Muawiyah says to him, well, how many feedbacks would that need for the horses? And he says, around 40,000. Each one of them will cost a dirham. So Muawiyah says, okay. So scribe, come here. Write to Ibn Zubair that Amir al-Mu'mineen, the commander of the faithful, has written for you 30,000 dirhams for your needs. Ibn Zubair would eventually write him back, they've reached me, O Amir al-Mu'mineen. May Allah have mercy on you. Jazakallah khair. So Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, he calls his son Yazid and he says, look, we saved 10,000 feedbacks, Yazid. Yazid, of course, is suggesting what many people would default to, which is to wage war and spend enormous budgets because of ego and anger. It's very likely that the cost of sending those soldiers would have ballooned had clashes actually happened with Abdullah ibn Zubair. And even if they didn't, but Muawiyah instead is suffocating his ego and spending less than that to keep the peace. And that's a trait that makes somebody a leader. Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan is like, okay, you think sending 40,000 soldiers is what's get the job done? I'll spend less than that. I'll give 30,000 dirhams, or 30,000 dinars rather, to Abdullah ibn Zubair as a gift. And that will solve the problem that you had wanted to solve with soldiers. But the reason why he was able to do that is because of the incredible forbearance of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. So how can forbearance be acquired? How does a person have hilm? Number one is by exercising it. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ وَإِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ بِالتَّحَلُّمِ. That knowledge comes by learning it and forbearance comes by practicing it. It beautifies the one who adorns themselves with it. And finally, the last thing that I'll mention is that hilm is an attribute that beautifies a person. Imam al-Shafi'i, he famously said, يُخَاطِبُنِ السَّفِيهُ بِكُلِّ قُبْحٍ فَأَكْرَهُ أَنْ أَكُونَ لَهُ مُجِيبًا يَزِيدُ سَفَاهَةً فَأَزِيدُ حِلْمًا كَعُودٍ زَادَهُ الْإِحْرَاقُ طِيبًا. He says, fools speak to me with all vulgarity, so I hate to respond likewise in turn. They increase in their vulgarity, I increase in my patience, like incense that becomes more fragrant when burned.